you're having a really great Monday and enjoying today's program so far. So my name is Vandela, and today I will be taking you guys through an exciting segment together with my colleague Anushka, who I'll be introducing in a short while. We're from the Health and Wellbeing team, and today we're very excited to be sharing with you more on our category and also our brand OLLY, which I do hope that most, if not some of you guys would have seen or heard of us. Before I get started, there'll be time for Q&A at the end of the session. So please feel free to, ask us any questions that you may have, and we'll be very happy to answer them. Right. Can we get the next slide, please? Yeah, so just really quickly, we'll do a short introduction, and Anushka will take you guys through about our category and OLLY. Lastly, we will be sharing a little bit more about our experiences, because I know that it's really something that you guys would want to know and hear from us. So that is really something we're excited to share. And then last of all, there will be an Q&A section at the end. So please send in your questions and we'll be answering them at the end. Next slide, please. Yeah, the next slide, please. Great. So to start off, just a little bit about me. I am Vandela, born and raised in Singapore. And as you can see from some of the images that I'm sharing here, I do consider myself to be quite an active person. I love being outdoors, being in nature, trying new experiences. Some of these images here are of me, traveling, doing skydiving. So I just love adrenaline rushing activities like this. It really, gives me an energy to kind of keep going. And I really draw my energy from, being outside and also with people, definitely. Sometimes, of course, I still need my alone time to recharge, as I think, a lot of you guys will also feel the same. A little bit about, how I started in Unilever. I actually started my time here after I graduated in 2016. So don't count back to find out my age, but basically I started upon graduating, and actually in fact I started a little bit before that. So I actually interned in my final year in university. So I'm actually personally from SMU, Singapore Management University. So hello to and shout out to all of you guys who are from SMU today tuning in as well. So I was part of the Unilever internship program, and I was working in hair care during my internship days. And when I graduated, I actually came back as an assistant brand manager. So it was a direct hire because there was an opening in my previous team, and it was actually the brand Tresemme. So I was working on Tresemme, and specifically in a global team that manages the Southeast Asia markets. I would say that the first year or two when I came on board, it was a major time of growth, stepping up from university, coming into the real kind of career world, right? Which I know all of you guys are really excited about. It was definitely a major growth, and there was steep learning curve, but it was a time that I learned so much. I think what were the kind of most exciting times then was really picking up on a lot of skills about understanding, the category that at that time I was working on, which was hair care and, beauty, speaking to consumers in the Southeast Asian markets and really understanding more about them, what are their struggles, what are the problems that they face, specifically in terms of their hair and also overall, as people. And from there, we are able to basically understand how our brands can actually help them in their daily lives and, in their hair care routine. And these were really, really interesting kind of knowledge that I took away, which allowed me to develop, new innovations for the brand, which was one of the key things that I was able to do during my time as an assistant brand manager. Back then, if you guys maybe could remember as well, naturals was a huge thing, and I had the opportunity to develop a new innovation of a natural shampoo, from scratch, identifying what would really resonate with consumers and then launching it in market. And I have to say that was the first baby that I developed and the first innovation. That feeling was I guess might be comparable to, having your own baby in the future. So I think that was really one of the kind of most memorable kind of times and experience that I've had. And from there, I kind of became the manager of Tresemme, and I was able to grow the brand further and took on even bigger challenges. And after 4 years of being with what I call my first love, I actually moved on to the team that I am today, which is health and well-being, which is a really big space and one that's very relevant for me, and I believe for you guys as well. In the past 1.5 years in this team as a kind of global marketer, I've been working on the expansion of our brands into other new markets, which Anushka will be sharing a lot more with you. So now I'll actually pass it on to Anushka to introduce herself.
Great. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks, Van, for the intro. I am Anushka. Lovely to meet you guys. A little bit about me. So I'm Singaporean, born and raised in Singapore. Went to university in the US. So went to Atlanta, Georgia, a university called Emory, where I double majored in what people say is a rather unique combination. So I studied business and more specifically finance and marketing. And I also have a degree in dance and movement. So I was that student that was running from wearing a suit in class in presentations to changing into yoga, workout, dance, sweatpants, and was always straddling the two. So a real nice mix of business and creativity. I have a really awesome family, a hubby, and we have a baby on the way, so I'll be delivering next month. So a lot of exciting things happening in my life, and I'm a big lover of dance, as you guys know, yoga, HIIT, also a DJ, and when we can travel, a big lover of travel, just like Van. My Unilever story is somewhat similar to Ben. I didn't start as an intern, but I joined Unilever right out of university here in Singapore. So I left the US and was applying for a lot of jobs in Singapore, looking at either creative agencies or FMCG companies. And Unilever was my big, dream job. And I was lucky enough to be recruited out of uni. And I've now spent, so first and only job, I've been with the company for 10 years, working firstly in our beauty and personal care categories. So I started out on Global Luxe, which is one of our largest skin cleansing brands. Again, like Van, worked on a lot of cool innovations that span the globe. And then moved over to hair, where I worked on Sunsilk, which is our leading kind of shampoo brand in the company, where I was really focused on Southeast Asia growth, because there's a huge business for Sunsilk in Southeast Asia. So really innovations and communications and campaigns, as well as strategy planning for growth in Asia. And then I joined the health and well-being team actually at its inception. So when it really started out about two and a half years ago. And I've been a part of this, the marketing team now, really focused on setting up, the foundation of how we're going to run the marketing division for this new category, looking at some M&A as well, and really expanding these beautiful brands that we have acquired across the globe. So that's a little bit about me, and I will take it to the next slide, where we'll talk about the category that I am working in. So our take on health and well-being. So getting you guys a bit more familiar with this category that's actually very new to the company. So if we can go to the next slide. So the way we started out, we're basically a startup within the company. So it started out as a very, very small, nimble entrepreneurial team where we all co-created on truly what's the vision for health and well-being at Unilever? What do we really want to kind of anchor ourselves on? And we built a vision which is really around making health a source of joy rather than anxiety. And I think, if you guys are familiar, I'm sure you guys are, when it comes to things associated with your health, with taking care of your loved one's health, it can often be a space where people feel rather unempowered and fear-stricken. And I think what we wanted to kind of focus on is brands and purposes that are really focused on trying to help consumers feel that health can be something you can take into your hands and make you actually feel proactive and joyful about it rather than nervous and anxious, which is really where our purpose as a category stems from. So we believe in empowering people to take charge of their health and well-being with solutions they can understand and trust. And we were really choiceful with these words because I think understand meaning shouldn't be too complicated. You know, we don't want to give you lots and lots of brands that you need almost a PhD to decipher what to do with. We want to make it kind of, easy and intuitive, and of course trustworthy, right? So products that are safe, scientifically proven, clinically endorsed. So really playing in that space to drive our purpose. And our ambition as a business is to become a top 5 VMS, which is a vitamin, mineral, and supplement company globally. And we've really focused within health and well-being on the category of vitamins and supplements as a fast-growing space. If I can get the next slide. And really what underpins this health category and the pivots that we've noticed as a business that's really shaped the way we've built our business is four kind of points here. So the first one is that consumers are seeing health no longer as an absence of disease. It's not just about curing a problem I have. It's actually a lifestyle pursuit. We're all really proactive, and I think particularly millennials and even Gen Zs about being proactive about your health. Really trying to do things holistically so that you're not tackling a single problem, but you're actually building health as part of your everyday lifestyle and routine. As a business as well, we've seen that there's been a lot of cross-category overlapping. So our business in Unilever, we have large categories where you play in food and refreshments and beauty and personal care. And we have seen these categories really start to merge with the vitamins and supplement space. There's, with the advent of like nutraceuticals and nutri-cosmetics, we're seeing this merging of categories, which really makes sense for us to be here as part of Unilever and see how we can kind of play with the merge. The third shift that we're seeing is that, especially in health, there's a rapid increase of social, digital, e-commerce, social commerce play, which consumers are expecting. And a lot of the brands are tapping into this trend. And finally, more and more so, we're realizing that consumers don't see health as a one-size-mass solution. They're really looking for solutions that are personalized and catered to themselves. So these are the kind of 4 pivots that we really believe are important for us to recognize and where we are also playing as a business. Next slide. And what we've done is, in the last 2.5 years, we have built we're in the process of building a house of brands to address all these different kind of emerging trends and need states in the category. So we right now have a gorgeous group of 5 brands: Equilibra, OLLY, Liquid IV, Smarty Pants, and On It. I hope you guys have heard of some of these, but if not, stay tuned. And they span from gummy supplements like OLLY, which I'll talk to you about in a second, to hydration solutions, which is Liquid IV, to nootropics, which is really focused on memory and focus and holistic performance with On It, and even Smarty Pants, which is really focused on kids' health solutions as well. So we have, a whole range of brands that now sit within this portfolio that, we as a team are really focusing on growing and expanding to different parts of the world. Next slide, please. And what's critical to how we kind of go about the process of selecting and acquiring brands is that we're really choiceful in the sense that we really believe that purpose is a very important pillar of these brands. So all of these brands have purpose truly at the heart of how they do business. And that's really critical because we as a business believe that brands with purpose truly grow. And of course, people with purpose that are working on these brands really thrive when they're working on brands that give them that kind of motivation and that support. So all these brands have a really unique purpose, which is what we get really excited about. And we try to ensure that we continue to grow this and keep the essence of all these brands when we continue to expand and reach more and more consumers. Next slide, please. So I've been asked to talk a little bit about our new baby. Well, not really new, one of our first babies that joined the portfolio, which was OLLY. So we are in Singapore. So I do hope that you guys have seen at least some of our ads or our products around town. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time taking you guys through this brand and sort of what we have been doing with it since we acquired it about 2 years ago. And then, of course, we can take any questions, etc. at the end. So next slide. Hello, we are OLLY. Next slide, please. So I'm gonna ask to play a video just to give you guys a brief intro of who the brand is and what we offer. If we can play the video, Rohan.
OLLY.
Little gummies, big benefits. That's what OLLY is all about. If we can go to the next slide, I'll tell you guys a little more. So how did OLLY start? Everyone asks us this question, and I think it's a really interesting story of how Eric Ryan, the founder of this brand, really walked into Target in the US, which is a giant retailer, and really noticed that amongst the vitamin and supplement aisle and shelf, there was a serious miss of a cultural shift. So a lot of the other categories we've seen have been disrupted, but this one was just still looking rather medicinal. It was filled with lots and lots of pills that were focused on many complicated ingredients. And, consumers found it incredibly difficult to navigate this shelf. And he really saw that there was such an opportunity to build a business out of disrupting this category, focusing really on millennials. And that's how it started, actually. So when he saw the category and started to look at it more closely, he realized that, there's a lot of old beliefs when it comes to vitamins and supplements, right? So you think of disease prevention, but actually today, the millennial consumer is actually looking for, lifestyle benefits. It's not about curing a specific kind of issue. It's about being able to integrate it into your lifestyle. It's no longer about patching a specific problem, but it's about proactive wellness. It's not just about physical stats. It's actually about mind, body, and soul, and the holistic statistics that you need. And it's really, as I mentioned before, not really about, it's not about one size fits all. It's about being specific and made for me. So he actually saw it as a huge opportunity to reboot the industry's approach and redefine health and focusing on the millennial consumer. Next slide. And what he saw were the three glaring needs in the vitamins category. So the first was bringing out the benefits. So rather than me selling you like melatonin or GABA or L-theanine, ingredients that maybe you know or don't know, why don't we sell you solutions that are focused just on making it simpler? So sleep or stress or beauty or energy, let's make it easy for the consumer. The second opportunity he saw was that it is just very difficult to shop. The aisles are cluttered. It's very confusing. How can we make and improve the shoppability of our brand and really have, bright, cheerful, unique packaging that you'd almost be proud to leave on your desk at the office or at home? And the third shift he saw that he really addressed was how to build this into a holistic lifestyle brand. So what are the touch points that would be really relevant to millennial consumers, and how do we play there in a way that's authentic to the brand and really part of your total lifestyle? So those were the three needs that he identified. And if we go to the next slide, he designed a wellness brand really rooted in purpose. So OLLY is all about making health delightfully easy. Two words we don't always see associated with health: delight and easy. And the way we do this as a brand is we focus on making it enjoyable. So all our products are gummies that taste great. So they're flavored with the chef's flair. They taste really good, and they're gummy solutions that address specific benefits. We keep it really simple. So the language on the packaging or any of our communication is easy to understand and really doesn't require too much complexity to decipher what you need to take. We focus on giving consumers the real benefits, again, making it easy, and benefits and solutions that millennials are really looking for today. So things like how to cope with stress, how to deal with low energy, how to make me sleep better at night, all these kind of millennial or problems associated with our really crazy, busy, hectic lifestyle that we focus on. And it's really about how to build a brand that fits with my lifestyle. So it's an authentic brand that I can truly connect with, that really gets me and what I'm doing. Next slide, please. And it's a brand really targeted at you guys, actually at all of us. So we have, a very defined set of consumers, so that the whole mix has been designed to really appeal to these segments of consumers, from your social butterfly, who are, students that are graduating and looking at a first job. So first jobbers are, fall into this category of consumers. They're very, very busy. They're navigating their future. They have a little bit of stress that they have to kind of manage, and they're making big decisions on how they want to kind of lead adulthood. So it's really dedicated for the social butterfly. Likewise, we focus on the young wifey. So these are consumers who are in a kind of a new phase of life where they're transitioning from themselves to having a partner, getting married, settling down. And then the third consumer group are really your soccer moms, which is where a lot of the consumers in the US sit for this brand. And these are the superhero women that are juggling kids and work and home and a lot of responsibilities, and just trying to manage self-care time along with taking care of their families. So it's a total holistic brand targeted at this millennial consumer segment. Next slide, please. And like I mentioned before, really focused on providing solutions that meet these lifestyle needs. So we have a range of adult-based benefit wellness solutions, really focused, like I said, on new SKUs that I can talk about, like laser focus or complexion when it comes to skin, or probiotics and sleep and stress. We have a range of multivitamins. And our science is all about, backed by true science that's rigorously tested, effective, and delivered all in a gummy. Next slide, please. So since we've acquired OLLY, we have, just scratched the surface on our international journey. So in the US, which is where the brand is born and where the brand is really tremendously large now. It is the fastest growing vitamin brand in the US. It's also the #1 sleep gummy in the US, and that's really the hero of the brand. And they also have the #1 stress supplement in the US. So there's a lot of success that this brand has brought to the US home market. We also launched OLLY in 2020 here in Singapore. It's available at Shopee, Lazada, Redmart, and Watsons. And in Singapore alone, we have become the #1 sleep brand in Lazada. So we've still got a lot more to do for the total brand, but it's super encouraging to see the success of how OLLY has landed in Singapore, and kind of the way consumers have been really receiving the brand and excited about the brand. So that's been really awesome. And we've also launched in our big market, China, on cross-border e-commerce, so Tmall and JD, where in the last year we've secured a #2 position in cross-border for our sleep supplement as well. So we've really, as a team and as a marketing team, but also as a whole cross-functional team, have really focused on trying to bring the strengths and beauty and the purpose of these brands to more consumers between Singapore and China. And we have huge plans still to really grow and develop these brands in these markets, and even to expand further. And I'll just go to the next slide and show you some of the things that we've been doing since we've bought the brand. So actually, this is something Vendela has been working on very, very closely. There's a huge opportunity when it comes to purpose that we believe we can still do and shape to kind of grow and support consumers with our brand. And one of the key opportunity areas where we've seen, you know, sleep being one of the biggest needs amongst millennials. I think there's a lot of stress that we're faced with, and COVID has obviously not helped with sleep patterns in general. So we've seen quite some opportunity to help break down a little bit of the myths and the science of sleep for consumers, so you guys can really understand, you know, what are the few things that I can make a change in my life to actually help me sleep better, because we've seen that, you know, not sleeping well has quite a snowball effect on things like your anxiety levels, your energy levels, your ability to kind of perform well the next day. So what we did as a team is we built a whole campaign dedicated on our sleep SKU, which we've been driving in both China, Singapore, and the US drives it as well, really focused on helping millennials kind of understand the real struggles of sleep. And if you see it on the right side of the screen as well, bite-sized content really designed to help millennials understand what they can do to improve their sleep. And so these are all over social media, we have it on our website, and we still think there's a lot more that we can do in the space of sleep, but also other elements of our business and other need states that are of particular interest to millennials. But at this point, we have focused on sleep. And I'll show you the campaign video that we created just so you can get a slight little flavor of what we've done. If we can play the video, please.
A yummy gummy packed with relaxing ingredients to calm your mind for a deeper, blissful sleep. Slay sleep with OLLY. OLLY.
So really designed to kind of help consumers become aware of, you know, sleep issues. But then on the right side of the screen, and I encourage you guys to check out our Instagram and our website, you'll get a lot more content around really what can you do when it comes to turning down your AC, the AC temperature, the things you can eat and drink before you sleep, or what you shouldn't be doing, especially things like being on your phone with blue light, all tips and tricks that can help support. And Ven's our expert on sleep, so you can also ask her lots of questions in the Q&A about that. Cool. Should we go to the next slide? Yeah, let me pass it back to Ven. That was just a quick overview of the beautiful brand OLLY. I think Ven's going to help share a little bit more on the next few slides. Ven, back to you.
Yep, thank you, Anushka. So maybe we'll just go to the next slide, which really is, you know, some talking points about our experiences in Unilever and specifically in health and well-being. And I think coming off from what Anushka just shared on, you know, some of the communication and purpose work that we've done, I think specifically I wanted to share a little bit about how, you know, purpose really helped me in my career and also the relevance that it has in the work that I do. So I think for a lot of us, you know, purpose is a huge word for myself as well. When people, you know, ask me, I think especially, you know, when you are coming out of university and even right now, you know, people are always like, what's your purpose in life? And it's such a huge word, right? And honestly, to me, I believe that I'm constantly on this journey of finding out what is the purpose of my life. I mean, what I think is my purpose now may be slightly different, like 5 to 10 years down the road. But from, you know, the 5 years that I've been working here, what I find out about myself is that I really want to sort of influence people's mindsets in a way that helps them live a happier life, you know. So that part of me wanting to help and influence them in a way that helps them their own lives is something that I've been able to do as a brand marketer. where I've been able to think about what are the kind of brand messaging that would empower these consumers to perhaps think in a different way or act in a slightly different way. So one example that Anushka was sharing earlier was the sleep content that we've developed for OLLY in Singapore. And that is something that I personally was leading to, really understand what type of content would help our consumers sleep better. And I know that a lot of us, including myself, there are definitely times that we struggle to fall asleep, right? Like you feel stressed out about your upcoming submission, the upcoming finals that you guys may have, and even stresses about work, family, etc. There's a lot of external elements that could keep us up at night. But of course, sleep for us, we know it's so important to our well-being, be it physical or mental well-being, that is really something that I know all of us are also trying to tackle on our end. Hence why, as OLLY, as a brand, what I wanted to help you guys, myself included, and all the millennials is, to understand a little bit more on this sleep space. So I really worked with, the experts that we have in our R&D team, people who have the knowledge of basically all we want to know about sleep, to understand this space. How can we sleep better? Why sometimes can we not fall asleep? What's the role of melatonin in sleep, which is an ingredient that a lot of us have heard of, but not all of us may be familiar with what it actually does. So with all of this, we gathered really the scientific information and helped to build it in a bite-sized content that resonates with you and I, when we're scrolling Instagram, if we chance upon, a message that tells us that, oh, in fact, a temperature of below 24 degrees is the most, it is the temperature that allows you to fall asleep better. So that was something new that I've learned, which also helped me to adjust a little bit of my lifestyle in order for me to fall asleep better at night. So really tips that can help you guys and myself on a daily basis was something that I was able to develop when I'm working on OLLY, and that was just a couple of months back. So the fact that I'm able to contribute in such a way in my day-to-day job really helps to push me forward and helps to make me excited for work when I wake up in the morning. I mean, truth be told, not every day will be an exciting day when you wake up in the morning, but when you think about when I am able to work on work that resonates with me on a personal level, the fact that these content that I'm developing will be able to help someone in their daily lives, will be able to help them, get a better night's sleep and therefore, have a better rest of the day as well. That's something that keeps me going. And really, on this purpose journey for OLLY, we are still, just getting started. There's so much more that we are also getting into to see how else can we help you guys keep up with your own health and well-being. So it's really, I would say, an exciting space that allows me to align my personal purpose and values with what the brand is doing to help others where we can. So Anushka, what about you?
Yeah, so when it comes to my purpose, I've reflected on this a lot, and I think being a dance marketing and dance double major, I've always been very inspired by bold and kind of creative work. And so what I believe is my purpose, and what I try to inspire with my team, is to really bring out, the bold, the fresh, the creative kind of thinking in everything we do, from strategy to actually execution with consumers. And that's what I really kind of live by. So I think in my current job, particularly with the health and well-being team, I feel that this purpose of mine is fueled all the time because, we are very entrepreneurial in how we're designed, and we work with these really cool brands that are by default disruptors of their categories. So they have been born out of being bold and out of thinking differently. And that's what really excites me because, we get to take these bold brands and continue to think about how we can translate them in a country like China, for example, keeping the essence of all the fantastic elements that make this brand so deep, so sharp, so purposeful, so creative, so bold, and translate that for the Chinese millennial, which is a very different consumer to the American millennial, for instance. So I love that aspect of kind of my job and what I'm trying to strive for and drive in the way I lead my teams. So everything we do, and Vandella would be a testament to knowing this, like I'm always challenging the team to see kind of how can we be bold about this? How can we really make an impact? Because, you know, the power is in marketing, has a lot of really exciting kind of ability to do disruptive things and to really create noise in a category and you know, really stand out and be fresh. And that's what really kind of excites me and brings me to my job and to my work every day.
Great. I think I definitely do agree with what Anushka has said, you know, being in her team. And as a team, you know, when we're working together on a brand with purpose, it's really empowering, I guess, you know, to be able to contribute and work as a team. Great. So I think now we'll move into the Q&A section, and thank you everyone. You've sent through a lot of great questions. And I think just to start with, you know, one question that I think a lot of you have also asked is more on career advice from both Anushka and I. And I'll start with Anushka first. You know, what advice would you give to the young graduates who are watching us now, who are really entering the workforce soon?
Ooh, good question. I would say that keep an open mind. You know, there's no job or no task that's too small. It will all benefit you in some way or the other in the long term. So be flexible, be curious, learn, ask questions, absorb like a sponge, and then really contribute. I would also say to go after what you're curious about. So, you know, if there's a specific subject or initiative or something that you feel like, oh, I really want to do or understand the world of e-commerce, or I really want to understand digital marketing, that's what's driving my curiosity. I would say find a way to get that, because, you know, finding a job that really overlaps with your genuine passion or curiosity is always super rewarding. And that's where I would say kind of anchor yourself on when you're thinking about making decisions on entering the workforce.
Yeah, and I think we have another similar question, which actually is directed at me specifically after I shout out that I was from SMU. I think Sharina asked the question on, you know, why did I choose to start my career in Unilever, and, you know, how has it been so far, and any important learnings. I think for me, I actually interned with Unilever in my final year, and before being with Unilever, I also tried out other internships, you know, like PR agency, creative agencies, and because I majored in marketing, so I had a general sense of, you know, what kind of work I wanted to do, but also a lot of questions on, you know, specifically what would I do within marketing. There's so many options, and within the field, there's a lot of different roles. When I interned in Unilever, I really felt that in this company, I was able to be empowered to contribute, you know, my ideas. I think that was one. I felt really empowered to bring out my ideas, especially from a consumer point of view and from a millennial point of view, you know, what I feel would resonate best with the consumers, what I feel the consumers really need, and how can we actually help them. And Unilever as a company, as you know, we've mentioned a lot, is really driving brands with purpose. And at the end of the day, you know, we want to be able to impact consumers in a way that it's not just about asking them to buy our product. It's really much bigger than that. And I feel that through the brands I've worked with on TRESemmé and now in OLLY, I can actually contribute that part of me to say, okay, you know, let's talk a little bit more about how can we help consumers achieve better well-being, you know, be it through sleep or through something else. And that's why I thought that there is such a huge playground for me, I think, in Unilever, and that actually made me want to start my career here. And even up to today, I would say that I'm still kind of learning and, you know, in my journey to identify, okay, maybe what's next in 2 to 3 years' time. And Unilever is really a company that supports your vision and your own career and personal goals. And the bosses here are really just here to help you experience and help you develop in the areas that you really want to.
I would fully agree with that.
Yeah, cool. So on to another question that actually quite a number of you guys have asked, so we could kind of combine them. Given that health and well-being space is rather new to Unilever, what are some of the challenges that our team face when competing with other healthcare giants like GSK and other big brands? And, perhaps how is OLLY setting itself apart from these competing brands?
Should I take this one first?
Yeah, Anushka, you can take this one.
Yeah, no, I think so definitely lots of really exciting learnings and challenges that have come on this journey, which is exactly what I love about this job, because you're always learning all the time. I think like any startup or new venture, you're navigating a lot of uncertainty. So I would say one of the big things that myself and other members of our team have definitely learned is that you need to almost be comfortable with the uncomfortable, or be able to kind of navigate the unknown and be really okay with that. So it's not a tried and tested path necessarily. So there are definitely challenges that we as teams have discovered, but every single kind of challenge that's come our way has made us kind of grow and be prepared for the next challenge better as a team, but also kind of externally with how we present ourselves. So I'd say comfortability with the unknown is one of the key elements of this challenge. To the second part of the question, which was I think around OLLY setting itself up, I think the true success of this brand, in my view, is just how single-minded the brand is on its mission and purpose. So I know we've said this a lot, but I think amidst many of the other brands that we have seen and the intense level of competition, OLLY is really focused on bringing delight to health. And any innovation, any kind of strategic work, or any communication that's out to consumers is really dedicated to bringing this to life. And I think this is its North Star. And it continues as a brand, we continue to drive bold kind of thinking and disruptiveness in each kind of innovation we bring to the market, which I honestly think still sets it apart from many of the competition, because it's a very strong point of view on the category. They got in really early, and it continues to innovate and kind of drive its unique proposition in everything that they do. So I think that's what gives OLLY the horsepower to kind of charge ahead. And staying true to that, and so forth. Ben, anything to add?
Yeah, I think just one last point, before I'm afraid we have to wrap up this session. I think for OLLY, really what's really unique about us is also the way we speak to our consumers and our tone of voice. Definitely wanting to bring, that positivity into our lives. We could all do with more positivity than kind of negative stresses. So I think the way, we speak with consumers, we connect with you guys, it's really as a friend. We're here to, be your buddy. We're here to also agree with you that, there are all these things that are going on in life, but sometimes, all it takes is, some positivity to help keep us going. Great. So thank you, Anushka, for this session. There are a lot of questions, and I wish we could continue to answer all of them, but unfortunately, the time is up for our session. But no worries, we'll be answering these additional questions on our Instagram page over the next few days. So do stay tuned to the Unilever SG Careers Instagram page. And just to do two shout out, one from the OLLY team. If we could go back to just the final slide, we do have a promo code for all of you guys on Shopee. So if we could just showcase that slide in a bit. The promo code is basically OLLY, OLLY, WELC. Just one slide before that. Yes, so you'll get 10% off your products from now till September 12th. So, go wild and shop away and try OLLY if you have not. And the second shout out I want to do is that, our internship is actually opening up for the first half of 2022. So do find out more and do submit your applications if you are interested. And we will be really keen to see you, hopefully, next time here. This session will be ending here, and the next session will be starting in about 15 minutes. So have a quick break, and in the next session, our Global VP will be sharing on her leadership journey in Unilever. So do stay tuned.